The first module of this chapter is a review on basic forms. When drawing complex structures such as the human figure, it is necessary to have a simplified visualization. It would be a daunting task if we were to draw every muscle group and its underlying bone structure right from the beginning, not to mention ugly in the final result. Artists during the golden age of American illustration have tackled such problems by simplifying these complex structures into three simple forms. Many of you should be familiar with cube, sphere, and cylinder. Let's take a look at how we can use these basic forms to construct the human body. For the torso, you should visualize them as simple cylinders. The same applies for the arms and legs. The feet and hands are a combination of cubes and tapering wedges. By combining these three simple forms together, we're able to create the idea of the human figure. Take a look at these mannequins. You'll find that most of these forms fall under the spectrum of a sphere or a cylinder. Here is where I want to stress that it is the idea of a human being we're after, not the exact likeness. These mannequins do not possess the entire range of features of a human being, such as muscle or facial features. Yet, we still recognize that this is an abstract representation of a human figure. I will stress this many times throughout this course. We, as artists, are not copy machines. Our creativity lies in the ability to manipulate the idea of something. Having these simple forms interlocking with each other, and then suggesting some surface anatomy, we're able to draw a believable human being. I often approach my subject matter with cylindrical forms. The main reason is because it is really great for capturing life, because of the use of curved lines. I don't use the cube approach because I find the result a bit robotic. The major forms we want to watch out for are the head, the torso, and the pelvis. We want to pay very close attention to how these forms react to each other, because they represent our line of action. We will be talking more about line of action in the next module. A little visual tip to watch out for is that you will tend to notice the volume formed by the torso will often be similar to a C-curve cylindrical form. So here is a demonstration on how I do form studies. First, always analyze your picture. If you can't see the forms, you cannot draw the forms. Use clothed as an indicator of perspective because it wraps around the form like a contour line. Remember to keep it simple and draw through the form. Our goal here is to become familiar with the basic forms and eventually see poses in this format in our head. Here, you see me starting with an X-sphere form for the head, and then moving on to blocking out the body and limbs with cylindrical forms. At this stage, try to keep it loose and feel for the forms. Make sure to really take your time to draw out your basic forms. Develop a habit of drawing out your forms correctly. This will set up a strong foundation later on when you're adding your anatomical details. Contour lines are essential to making form. I always try to add a few contour lines for each form to help get the feeling down. At this stage, the basic forms are blocked in. We can now begin to clean up a little bit and maybe modify some forms to be more like arms and legs. Here's the final study. I didn't put too much emphasis on the head, just leave enough facial features so it reads. Let's try another one. Again, the same procedure. First, break down the pose to its basic forms, and then move forward to establishing the big forms. This brings us to the end of this demonstration. Before we move on to the next module, I'd like to point out that these type of studies is meant to improve your understanding of the subject. As you accumulate experience, you'll soon find yourself moving away from such construction methods, and your drawing will become more organic and free-flowing.